Greetings and warm welcome. I'm with another something. Where am I? Who am I? What is going on? Can anyone really know? Can any one person really know everything? Well, I think that's that. Wishing you absolutely all the best, and please, take care. Just kidding. Admittedly, I don't always want to stick my face out there. And there is some major procrastination, escapist, hiding away type of energy, but you know what? Sometimes we just got to pull our pants up from the belt buckles. We got things to do, and so we just go ahead and do them. And I'm actually going to begin with some announcements. I want to announce the latest segment of the Astrology for the Soul, the complete course for chart interpretation. This is the most dense, thick, meaningful workshop or course that I've participated in. And so if any of you out there are interested in the amazingly powerful technology and medicine that is astrology, and if you want to have this tool in your own toolbox, this segment of the course is focused entirely on the bottom of the barrel of evolutionary astrology. This is cutting to the core of the questions, the complexes, the struggles, and our own evolutionary journey throughout life. And so if you've got a good grip on planets, signs, houses, and you're not already familiar with this material, definitely check it out. And if you're not already familiar with planet signs and houses and you'd like to learn more astrology, click the link below and you can sign up for our full course and learn all the above. All right, announcement cleared out of the way. Now let's talk about what the heck is going on in our planet at this particular time. Now, the last few weeks, we've had all of our inner planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, in the sign of Virgo, and up until our full moon going on the 13th to 14th, coming up this weekend, we're talking about a full moon in Pisces. We have these inner planets in the Earth sign of Virgo. So as we mentioned in the last video, these last couple of weeks are very Earth-centric. We've been working, we've been shaping, we've been rectifying, we've been adjusting. We could have been really paying it forward. And this is a very productive and progressive time if we can get down to it. And we'll talk about the Pisces influence that can be taking us all over the place that's coming in simultaneously these coming weeks. Now, we can really be seeing the results of our work with Virgo. I mean, what you do is what you get. These earth signs really speak for themselves, and the proof is in the pudding. And at the same time, Virgo oftentimes really draws our attention and awareness to wherever there are loose ends that still need to be tied up. As I mentioned last time, Virgo can sometimes therefore begin with the experience of crisis. But this has become because the great sign of the healer brings our healing awareness to whatever is not already perfect or what is already not completed in order to bring improvements to those areas. We therefore have to be very humble and open to improvements in order to get down with Virgo in a way that doesn't seem like it's all our fault or it's the end of the world or it's a punishment. No, this is simply the human experience. We're not supposed to have everything perfect or right, but you know what? This is a time where we can really be feeling, seeing, experiencing just how much work we have to do in our own lives and our families on this planet at this particular time. And so I'll just share, personally, I'm quite exhausted from the last couple weeks dealing with my own health crises. We also just came back from our hurricane evacuation, which coincidentally tends to coincide with the full moon in Pisces every year. This full moon in Pisces this year is joined with Neptune, Poseidon, the Lord of the Oceans. And so coincidentally, we have this flowing, unpredictable, out of our own control, dynamic. This is what Pisces and Neptune is. Pisces and Neptune, being the final sign of the zodiac, is that which we do not have control of. It is the bigger picture. It is the final destination. It is what we are part and parcel of. Fascinatingly enough, Pisces also rules the disillusionment, the confusion of reality, the lack of boundaries between one thing and the next, which can lead to this bleed through, this conglomeration, this confusion, this sacrifice of just letting it go too far. So when we are dealing with this Virgo-Pisces polarity, I like to think of this polarity having much to do with this valve system. Virgo is like energy filtration systems, and it's all about what we're letting in, what we're letting go, and how these boundaries, where to set them up, when to assert them, when to be flexible with them. This is really, really a theme coming up, and again, with Mars coming into an opposition with Neptune coming up this week in the 14th, square to Jupiter in a couple days in the 12th, this can really, really affect our energy levels. There may be so much energy and so much buoyancy and so much excitement there that we aren't really having connected to our bodies or our earth or practicality. We need to make sure we don't get swept off of our feet. This escapist energy can also get very exaggerated, go into spending, addictions, escapisms. We'll talk about the very heavy Saturn influence that is going on beneath the surface this month, as Saturn is now stationing direct at 13 degrees of Capricorn, exact September 18th. Well, this amount of heaviness and real worldness and exhaustion and so many challenges, and the challenges that we're facing now are not the challenges that our parents or previous generations faced. The things that we're talking about are not the same things we talked about before. The things that we're getting exhausted by or run over by are not the same things that we've had to acknowledge before. So again, this energy can really be all over the place. Discerning how much to give, how much to focus, takes a level of flexibility, experiments, and taking with the grain of salt. Not being overly hard on ourselves or expecting it to go perfectly smoothly, but if we can be flexible enough to give ourselves a little bit of a buffer when we may need to breathe a little bit more. And again, we need to sometimes give ourselves a little bit of a push through these healthy Virgo schedules and rituals and focus for this many hours, and then you can take these many hours off. Put yourself in the mess that you're cleaning up for this much time, and then take a vacation for this much time. Because with this type of full moon, if we just call vacation too early and we spend all our money or go crazy, it's going to make it that much harder to come back and pick up the pieces later. So I recommend a little bit of pick up the pieces and take a breath of fresh air. Do your homework while you're enjoying a delicious meal at the same time. With the moon's north node in Cancer, we're really mastering this balance of applying versus relaxed time, how to take care of ourselves, the relationship between our bodies and our present circumstance, the workload, the expectations, the actual focus that we have, versus our dreams, our goals, maybe where we'd rather be or where we would like to be in 10 years, or where all this work is taking us. It's this relationship between our bodies and what we're doing in reality, in the present moment, versus the potential, the dreams, the goals, the ideals of where this is taking us. And a part of this balance invites, as always, when it comes to Pisces Virgo, is the holding in our hearts the ideal, the dreams, the goals. Enough to be in tune with it in ourselves. And this helps us to not take the Virgo too seriously, because this is a heavy month. The amount of mundane, trivial bullshit that we have to apply ourselves to. The amount of patriarchal, societal, oppressive runoff is just a huge thing that's coming up right now. And we can't just put it all on our shoulders. There's a need to partition, to break apart these jobs, these tasks, but also take it with a grain of salt, because in our hearts, we are communing and we are tuning into that light at the end of the tunnel. We know it's possible. That's Pisces. It's not about just daydreaming it and then expecting it to happen, and then getting all disillusioned because, oh, we messed up and, it must have been impossible. No, this Mars opposite to Neptune, square to Jupiter, says we really have to do, we have to apply, we have to focus. And if we can be strong enough in this stoic and mature and adult, practically minded type of way, we know that we can do it. We can do it. That's going to be the gift, if any, that Saturn brings in, is this stoic maturity that comes from the adult that's lived in the real world, right? We all have to kind of earn our way to that level of stability. Here I think of the analogy of the do-it-yourselfer off-grid cabin builder, doing the bush shelter building and all of this, bushcraft and all of this. And the person who loves to do this thing is not afraid that they're going to die because they know how strong, how capable they are. They're not waiting for the cabin to be finished. They enjoy the work. They enjoy the process. There's something that's really fulfilling about proving to ourselves that we can overcome these challenges, that we can maneuver through these mechanisms, these machines, these obstacles. Saturn puts obstacles in our path. Saturn is going to put an obstacle in our path this month. It is a part of our connection to this earth that is going through a rite of passage at this time. We're going through a maturing period. We don't skip and jump to the vacations when we're in the maturing rite of passage, going to the gym, doing the strength development time. We all have to, in some way, shape, or form, embrace that this is the time that we're in, that this is the work we're being asked to do. And it's not a punishment, it's not a sign of failure, it's not us doing anything wrong. It's us stepping up to the plate as human beings. And as human beings, we are part of the construction crew. We don't wait for the resort to be finished and then we move in. We're building this resort, baby. That's planet Earth. That's where we find ourselves right now. And if we can, again, in that Piscean vision, in our heart, feel what that resort, what that paradise is going to feel like, what it's going to look like, it's going to keep us going. It's going to give us that energy. It's also going to give us a sense of direction, right? It's going to give us a sense of who are the right people with the right tools, the right know-how, the right groups, the right location, and then just one little baby step, just like that Virgo millipede after the next. We find ourselves moving forward. So again, real fine line balance with this Virgo Pisces between not sweating the small stuff, getting lost when we get lost in our own inner criticisms of others, the details, the inadequacies, the small stuff, okay? We're all cleaning, we're all working, we're all purifying, we're all scrubbing. It's okay. We can support one another in this. It's not the end of the world. And we also don't just let it all go. We don't just let it all go as if God or Jesus Christ is going to change the world and all of these issues and dynamics for us. This is one of these outdated Pisces age beliefs. And as we come to the end of Pisces, and the way I see it, we are coming to the end of the age of Pisces. There are all these loose ends that need to be wrapped up. And when we're talking about Pisces and Jupiter squaring this full moon and Neptune in Pisces this month, this can have a lot to do with beliefs, philosophies, ideologies. And we're looking at these ideologies. We're looking at a lot of past ideologies in particular, and likely we're experiencing a confusion, an instability, and this confusion and instability is what's actually inviting our religious, philosophical understanding of life to change, to evolve. This is a wonderful year for our old ideas and beliefs to be dissolving. This is a wonderful year for an existential crisis. That may sound very strange to hear. Who wants to go through an existential crisis? Who wants to go through a period of spiritual disillusionment? You see, we all go to the churches or the New Age gatherings, and we all are fed this idea that when we go on the spiritual path, we start to know more and more and more. And we lose the confusion or the the questioning, the doubt. Saturn is doubt. Is doubt a problem? Is it anti-spiritual? Is it a symptom of failure? No. It's a wonderful year to be having a spiritual existential crisis. Why? Because going through a period of spiritual disillusionment is a part of healthy spirituality. Us challenging our beliefs is healthy spirituality. When someone's going through a spiritual disillusionment or a period of confusion, it's one of the healthiest things that I observe someone go through. And even though it can be challenging, it tends to lead to discoveries being made and old blind spots and inaccuracies being released. And so this is a healthy time to be questioning and saying, I don't know, and does anybody not know? I would say it's not a great time to be a born again. You see, the born again vibe of, wow, I came back and God talked to me and I'm connected and this is what you need to do and this is what everybody needs, is very misleading. It causes the people going through their spiritual questioning to doubt themselves, to feel that they're in the wrong, when actually, you know what, if you're going through a born again, that's fine, but that's a phase. And if you're going through a spiritual disillusionment, it's a healthy cycle, it's a healthy season. Okay? So a lot of these ideas around blind faith, when to let go, when to surrender, we just pray and then everything happens. We let it go to God and God's going to fix everything. There are some outdated beliefs. For example, if we want to rewind the clock and we zoom in on India and we look at the Hindu caste system, if we just go a few thousand years ago and even contemporarily, the spiritual authorities and the teachers and the gurus are around and in charge as authorities while the caste system is enacted. And what are they saying? This is the way it's made to be, and this is how God intended, and this is nature, and we just let go, and we let God take care of things. It's not necessarily correct. So Virgo is focus, it's devotion, it's cleaning, it's work, it's rectifying. It can be critical, and we need a balance of this, particularly in our world, particularly when it comes to beliefs. I'll give another example. The author of the book The Secret, I forget her name, several years ago there was a big tsunami that struck Japan, and thousands and thousands of people lost their lives, and the author of the book The Secret was quoted saying, well, all those people in Japan were thinking tsunami-like thoughts. And so using their positive manifestation, the power of their own minds, they attracted the tsunami to them. This is a particular idea, right? A belief that for some reason our minds control reality. What is this actually but victim blaming? We're blaming the victim. Oh wow, look at that person. They just suffered an incredible trauma. Guess they must have been thinking about it. That's on them. Inappropriate. Victim blaming. So we have to be responsible for our world. Let's come back to Saturn, stationing direct right on the moon's south node. Saturn's been hanging out on the moon's south node since March. Do you think our life and world has been saying, wow, it sure is easy. Woo, all we do is think the world's perfect and everything's fine. No, Saturn is saying get real. It ain't pretty. There's work to do. There's karma to clear. All right. And when it comes to karma, and I'm going to show up an image here of one of my favorite pictures of karma, it's pretty real. It really cuts to the bottom of the barrel of what karma is and how we experience it. All right. Karma is the beaten path. It's cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, going back, around, and around, and around, and around. And so we can't just let that one go, can we? We can't just let that beaten path of systemic oppression, just like the Hindu caste system, we can't just let that go, can we? So there is a shadow and there is a positive side to Saturn. The positive side to Saturn is going to be that stoic, mature adult that we were talking about that knows we can do it and we are strong enough. And so we're going to do this. But we're not being a tyrant to the point of, oh, and you're going to do it too, and you're going to do it too, and you're going to do it too. Otherwise, we are the next oppressor. We have to be responsible for our own life, for our own relationships. This is what I found myself in. I found myself in this circumstance. Can't say I chose it, but this is where I am now. So this is what I'm going to address. This is what life has handed me. I'm responsible for it. I'm in a teacher role, so I'm responsible for what I say. I am a healer. I'm doing acupuncture. I'm doing Reiki. So I'm responsible for my interaction between my clients. I'm responsible for the container that is my home. I'm responsible for my own emotional energy and how I come off to other people. And in all of this responsibility, and you know what, this is tough sometimes because we will watch ourselves slip out of line or fall out of character or not meet those expectations. Certainly every teacher, every healer knows what it's like to fail. That's Virgo. We don't have perfect interactions with all of our clients. It's not possible. And is that failure or is that feedback? We learn, we grow, and we improve from these things. So there's a big difference between responsibility and punishment. Okay, we don't punish ourselves when we fail a reading. We be responsible for why. And that's a big difference from rejecting that responsibility and saying, oh, you know what, that was them. They're of such a spiritual evolution, so they, really missed what I was saying. Or they're just not the right person for me. No, we found ourselves in this situation. We found ourselves in this dynamic. Why? It's not about blaming me or you. It's just about doing the work to resolve the circumstance, the three-dimensional reality that we find ourselves in. And as soon as we point the finger at someone and blame them for being responsible for this world, this circumstance, whether it be the president, whether it be the leader of some nation, we are giving away that responsibility to someone else. Okay, so we are all co-creators. We all have these things being reflected back and forth, and we're learning and we're growing and we're stepping up to the plate. So we can't just let it all go. We can't just escape. We can't just spend all of our money or get really, really engorged. Okay, and yet we don't also just want to lock ourselves in the basement with our homework or overly militantly beat ourselves into submission when we're not doing the diet or the ritual or the schedule exactly the way that we said we were. All right? That balance between responsibility and punishment. Let's make sure we're not using punishment. This is something that's really challenging right now. I'll be honest, I'm really struggling with this, with my own Saturn return amidst other things going on right now. That beaten path, the karmic exchange of Saturn, can make it very challenging to be responsible. And I'll put into words how this can sound like. It's like, are you serious? I was so oppressed and so ignored and so beaten down by my father and my teachers and bosses and authorities in the past. And now I slip up and I do something or I raise my voice the wrong way and I'm being an oppressor and I'm being mean to other people. Are you serious? I am so much nicer and so much more clean and so much more contained. Maybe so. Maybe so. And yet these are the times we find ourselves in, are we not? We've been handed something that isn't just easy, pretty, or simple. And our human incarnation is about being the stoic human being that's not going to take it overly personally. And where this can very much go wrong is when it turns into the right, wrong, the over morality. That's nice, that's mean. I already did this, you did that. You know, these types of measurements where they become too crazy. It's just like, no, we're all having to step up to the plate in some way at this time. And if we can take this responsibility enough simply to recognize what we're working on and give ourselves the slack that we don't have to be at the finish line today, we can at least give ourselves the orientation. Maybe it's just space. Maybe it's just flexibility. I don't know everything right now with Jupiter square to Neptune. I don't know exactly what the world needs right now, but I've got a great sense that the world needs something and I'm finding that. And through this inquiry, this communication, this exchange, this experiment, like the potter at the wheel, just shaping, rectifying, adjusting, until this starts to take form. Then we start to see it, and then we have a good sense of where we're going. We can give ourselves this space to really do this shaping, find where we're going. Don't oversettle or, just a million miles per hour go in one particular direction before we have the current circumstance, where we are in body, the work, the procedure, the time, the flexibility in between. That's when we give ourselves permission to go ahead. Now, things are going to move into Virgo after this weekend. Mercury and Venus conjoin together on the 13th, Libra on the 14th. The Sun enters Libra on the 23rd. And then coming up towards mid-September, Saturn stationing direct on the Moon's south node, Mercury and Venus in Libra opposite to Chiron. Okay? Bottom of the barrel stuff coming up. Not necessarily easy. Nobody's got quick fix, quick win solutions. Nobody's winning the lottery tonight. Okay? But we are having the conversations. Mercury, Venus opposite to Chiron. We need to communicate. Sometimes it's a little messy. The gems, the jewels, the treasures, the opportunities are inherent in the mess. If we can spelunk for those jewels in a respectful way, if we can communicate even what hurts us in a way where we're not shredding people apart, this can be a tremendously progressive time that can be leading us into, oh, this is what I value, this is what I'd like to share, this is what matters, this is how I can do it. So you know what? September 2019 is a thoroughly progressive, potent month. There's so many transits that are exact this month. A lot of planets lining up. When we see this dynamic happen, there's a lot of stuff happening in a short amount of time. It's dense. But I am going to say this is a major paying it forward time. Okay? Jupiter, first, Saturn, stationing on the south node. It's been on the south node since March. This is a bottom of the barrel. Again, the karma, the world, the authorities, the given day and age, the paradigm, the circumstances. We're coming to another level of recognition and stepping up. And maybe even those obstacles coming in our way this month can be a part of this. And then Saturn's going to press forward and pass Pluto in January of 2020. That's when we're going to have our next major beat in terms of transformation, restructuring, reprioritization. So let's get down with it this month. Yes, take the time with this Jupiter-Neptune. Give yourself the explorations under the sea, in your own imagination. Give yourself some creative freedom. Give yourself some artistic liberty to balance out all of this Saturn grown up. Give your inner child freedom this month. Even if it seems small, every single day, give 20%. We'll make it even smaller. Virgo baby steps. Give 5% to your inner child to be free to do what she or he spontaneously desires through tuning into your body and your emotions. What's going to be light, what's going to be free, in order to just relax, in order to let the energy and our nervous system circulate. So we can come back to our desk, we can come back to our focus without going insane, because as it's said in The Shining, too much work and not enough play makes Jack go insane and murder tons of people. So we all have to be aware of that potential in ourselves. And if we can get down to it, there's some major power that we can recognize is a part of our makeup as the human being, and it's there for us to embrace. It's there for us to use. It's there for us to get stuff done, and if we're just going to freeload or lay it go by the wayside, we're going to be giving that power and responsibility to other souls that may not be handling it in the way that honors our body, hearts, minds, or emotional well-being. So now I'm going to say, wishing you absolutely all the best, and please do take care. For those who would like extra astrology tidbits from me, I do a live Q&A every month with my Patreon community page. It's probably my favorite part of every month because people get to pull out their charts. They talk about what's going in their lives. We do kind of quick live chart readings as a group. And the reason it's so powerful is we get to see through people opening up and sharing their charts how real, how powerful, and how informing astrology is. And how using this information we can be so much more reaffirmed of who we are, where we are, what our direction is. And you know what? It makes things way less scary. Even when we're in a scary mini dark age, the way we may kind of relate to right now. So again, those interested in learning these tools yourself, you're never going to forget them. You're going to apply them in every single facet of your life now through the end of your life. This technology is open and available for you now to learn. Check out that link below. We've got the EA material course signups now through the end of this week. Get on that if you want to be a part of this bottom of the barrel astrology course, or else you can sign up for the complete course at the link below. All right. Again, wishing you all the best. Happy Saturn station, happy Jupiter, Neptune square, happy exploring. Take care. Good luck.